Chosen one, before this Monday closes its hands around the rest of your day, listen carefully to what I was sent to place in your hearing. Today carries a weight that will not appear on any calendar, and the world is going to call that weight horror. Because horror is what every threshold looks like to anyone who does not know what they are crossing into. You are crossing into something. The hour does not matter. Sunrise, midday, the long descent toward evening, the deep quiet of late night. Wherever this voice meets you, the door is still cracked open, and heaven has not yet rolled up the scroll bearing your name. There is something you have postponed, something your spirit has been petitioning for, something the last 6 Mondays could not finish in you. Today was set apart to finish it, not to break you, to deliver you. So, I am not going to use fear as a leash, and I am not going to soften what must be said. Stay with me. Let me show you what the prepared see when this kind of day arrives. The Father has been waiting for you to look up. Wherever you happen to be right now, the room around you carries a different stillness than other Mondays you have lived through. Maybe the light through your window has a colder edge. Maybe the room you are sitting in feels slightly emptier than the count of people in it would suggest. Maybe the small sounds of this day, the distant traffic, the hum of a refrigerator down the hall, the soft tick of a clock somewhere in the next room, are reaching your ears just a half-second slower than usual. That is not your imagination. That is what it sounds like when a day with weight on it begins to settle around the chosen one it was sent for. You have lived through ordinary Mondays. You know the texture of those, the mild reluctance, the slow pull into the week, the routine that begins again. This is not that. This Monday has the texture of a held breath, like the world around you is waiting to see what you are going to do with it. You feel that, even if you have not put words to it until now. Before another sentence reaches you, slow this moment down. Whatever was on your mind 10 seconds ago, set it down at the edge of your attention. The unsent message, the half-finished thought, the list of things you were going to handle. They will all still be there when this conversation closes. None of them are going anywhere. If there are people near you and you can step into a quieter corner of your attention, do that. The body does not need to move. Only the listening needs to settle. If you are lying down, lie down. If you are driving, keep your eyes on the road. The settling is happening inside. Take one breath in. Slow. Hold it for a moment. Just a moment. Now, let it leave. Do not perform anything. Do not try to make this sacred. The sacredness is already here. It arrived before you did. What I am going to share with you in the next stretch of time is not a teaching. It is not advice. It is what I was given to bring to you on this exact Monday, and it is going to require your honest attention. Not your skeptical attention, not your half attention with one eye on something else. Your honest, undefended, willing to be changed attention. Because what is unfolding today is not going to wait politely for you to catch up. It is moving. It has been moving since before you opened your eyes this morning. And the only way you walk through it cleanly is to begin seeing it now. And before we go any further, let me say plainly what is waiting for you if you stay with this message all the way to the seal at the end. By the time we close, you will know exactly what is unfolding on this Monday on 3 different layers: the visible one, the inner one, and the one most chosen ones never get to hear named. You will know the 2 specific reasons your own sight has been dimmed since you were a child, and why most days like this one slip past you. You will be given 3 concrete practices, each one named, each one explainable in plain language, that you can begin using before this Monday is over. And we will close together with a declaration ceremony I was instructed to speak over you, the kind that does not fade when the day fades. Do not leave early. The most important part is at the end. The Father always saves the seal for the ones who stay. Now, let me show you what is actually happening on this Monday, on the level you can see with your own eyes, before we go any deeper. The first dimension of what is unfolding is the visible one, the behavioral, external dimension, the layer that anyone walking through this day with you would describe if asked, even though they would not understand what they were describing. And it has been arriving in pieces since the very first hour Monday opened. Have you noticed the small delays already accumulating? The reply that has not come, the phone call that should have been simple but turned strange in tone, the plan that was set in stone last week suddenly revealing fragility around the edges, the conversation that should have taken 3 minutes and somehow stretched into something heavier than the topic deserved. These are not random. The world will tell you they are. The world will say, every Monday has things like this. The world will say, you are reading too much into ordinary friction. But you and I both know the friction today has a different shape. The delays are not piling up by accident. They are forming a pattern, and the pattern has a meaning. And the meaning is the first signal that this Monday is exactly what I am telling you it is. Look at the news that has reached you so far today. Not all of it, just 1 or 2 pieces. There will be a headline, a story, a name that has landed too close to your own life. It will feel slightly aimed. The chosen ones know what I mean by aimed. There is a difference between news that reaches you and news that finds you. Today, something found you. Look at the people closest to you. Someone is moving slightly off pattern. Someone in your inner circle is carrying an energy that does not match their usual rhythm. A partner, a child, a parent, a friend. They are not aware of it themselves. They are simply being moved by the same current that is moving you, but on a different channel of perception. The whole house, the whole circle, is being adjusted at once. And you are the one heaven appointed to recognize the adjusting. Let me tell you about a woman who lived through a Monday that looked exactly like this one almost 3 years ago. She was in her late 40s, holding a small business together with her own hands, raising 2 teenagers who were past the easy age, taking care of her elderly mother on the side. By any measure, a competent chosen one. The kind of woman others lean on without realizing how much she is carrying underneath the leaning. That Monday, 3 years back, opened with the same texture you are feeling right now, the same accumulating small disruptions, the same heaviness that did not match anything specific in her life. She told me later that she remembered standing in her kitchen sometime in the mid-morning, holding a coffee that had gone slightly cold, looking at her phone and thinking, something is happening today, and I do not know what it is. She decided to push through, to treat it like a normal Monday, to let the productivity script take over. The voice inside her that said, slow down, listen, was overruled by the louder voice that said, you have a schedule. By Wednesday of that week, she had missed an opportunity that would have changed the next 2 years of her life. A door opened on Monday. She was too rushed to see it. By the time she finally understood what had passed her by, the door was no longer there. She told me, the next time I feel a Monday like that one, I am stopping. Whatever the schedule says, whatever the world demands, I am stopping, and I am listening. You are listening right now. Do not underestimate what that decision is already doing. There is a story buried in the older books of Scripture that the chosen ones recognize even before they remember the details. It is the story of a man named Mordecai sitting at the gate of the king on a day that looked like every other day. You may know the larger story. His niece Esther was already inside the palace. There was a kingdom-wide threat moving toward her people, planned in secret, sealed with the king's own ring, without the king fully understanding what he had signed. Mordecai was the one who caught the first signal of what was coming. He was the one who refused to bow when everyone else did. He was the one who passed the warning to Esther, who at first did not want to hear it, telling her, "Perhaps you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this." That phrase, "for such a time as this," has been quoted more than almost any other line in Scripture. But almost no one notices the day Mordecai received the original signal that started it all. It was an ordinary day, in an ordinary courtyard, with ordinary servants moving back and forth. He was simply sitting where he sat every other day. The difference was that on that particular day, his ears were open, his attention was undefended. He was not on autopilot. Heaven did not announce itself with a trumpet that day. Heaven walked past him in the form of two whispering officials who thought no one was listening. Mordecai listened. The whole future of an entire nation hinged on the fact that one chosen man, on one ordinary-looking day, was paying attention. That is the pattern, chosen one. The chosen one does not get the loud signal. The chosen one gets the quiet one. The signal that anyone else, on any other day, would have walked right past. The signal that requires undefended attention to even register. The signal that arrives wearing the costume of ordinary friction, so that only the watchman, the one whose attention has not been talked into silence, will notice it. Today is your sitting at the gate day. The whispers have already passed by. Some of them you caught, some of them you almost caught and dismissed. The remaining hours of this Monday will continue to deliver them. The question is not whether they are coming. The question is whether your attention will be in the position Mordecai's was. So let me name what your attention has already been registering, even if you have not given it permission to. The first thing you may have noticed today is a strange inability to lock into the routine tasks that usually run themselves. You open the same calendar you open every Monday, the same list of things to handle, the same email inbox, and something inside you would not engage with them the way it normally does. You found yourself starting tasks and drifting, looking at a screen and thinking about something completely unrelated, not in a tired way, in an alerted way, as if your mind was deliberately keeping itself slightly elsewhere, refusing to commit to autopilot. That is your spirit holding the wheel. Your spirit knows today is not a day to commit fully to the surface schedule. Your spirit is keeping a portion of your awareness reserved in case the real assignment of the day announces itself. The second thing you may have noticed is an inner restlessness that has no clear cause, the kind that makes you stand up, walk a few steps, sit down again, with no actual purpose. The kind that makes you reach for your phone, open it, close it, set it down. The kind that has been with you, off and on, since the morning began, like a low signal in the background of everything you are doing. That restlessness is not anxiety. Anxiety is fear of an unknown future. Restlessness is your spirit pacing, waiting for you to stop and listen. The third thing you may have noticed is a heightened sensitivity to small disruptions. A small annoyance hits you harder than it should. A minor inconvenience lands like a personal affront. Someone says one slightly thoughtless thing, and you feel it for an hour. This is not weakness. This is your nervous system being sharpened. On days like this, the chosen one is being made more permeable because the day requires high-resolution input. You are being tuned, even though it feels from the inside like overreaction. What I am about to share with you should be heard directly, without veils, without the building of mystery, for the sake of selling at the end of this conversation. Truth honors truth. So let what is real be named before another moment passes. What I have been describing, the dimming, the dual blockage that keeps the chosen one from clearly reading days like this one, has two names. Two researchers, in 2 different decades, in 2 different fields, mapped 2 halves of the same problem. And the work they each did, separately, has been brought together into something the chosen ones are quietly using. The first half of the restoration is called the Genius Song. It is a short audio that reactivates the brain frequency you were born with, the same frequency the world has been quietly turning down in you since you were about 7 years old. The second half is called the Wealth Signal. It is a short audio that deactivates the survival frequency that has been running over your nervous system since adulthood took its grip on you. They work in sequence: child mind first, receiving channel second. The order matters more than most people realize. For those whose spirit is already pulling at you while I am speaking, the path is in the description and in the pinned comment below this message. 3 doors are placed there. Your spirit will know which door is yours, if any of them is. There is no rush. Stay through the rest of this conversation if you need the context first. The doors are simply named now, so that nothing important is hidden behind a wall of suspense. And in the same breath that named those 2 paths, another truth begins to rise, because the names alone are not the gift. The gift is what comes next. Let me give you an image to hold on to for the rest of this conversation, because we are going to come back to it again and again. Picture a watchtower, standing alone at the very edge of a kingdom, built on the boundary line between the settled land and the wilderness beyond it. The watchtower is yours. It was built for you before you were born, on a piece of ground that was assigned to your name. And every chosen one in history has had a watchtower like it, even when they did not know it existed. The tower has one purpose. The watchman climbs to the top before the sun rises. He stands, he watches. He watches the horizon for what is coming, while the kingdom below is still asleep. Today, this Monday, is a dawn day. The horizon is doing something it does not do on ordinary days. There is movement out there. There are shapes forming in the half-light that the daytime kingdom will never see, because by the time the kingdom wakes up, the light will have already changed, and the shapes will look like ordinary weather. Only the watchman, awake before dawn, sees the truth of what is approaching. You are the watchman. The fog you see on the horizon is what the world calls horror. The shapes inside the fog are what the world will call bad luck. Hard week, rough Monday, tough start. But you, standing on your tower, are being given the chance to see what is actually moving inside the fog. And what is moving inside the fog is not horror. It is your assignment, walking toward you, in clothes you would not have recognized if no one had told you what to look for. So stay with me, because the next thing I want to name is the part of all this you have not yet given yourself permission to take seriously. The 4th sign of what is unfolding today is more spiritual in shape, and you may have noticed it without naming it. There has been a synchronicity already today, a repeating element, a name that came up in 2 unrelated places, a number that caught your eye twice, a song that played somewhere and then surfaced again in a completely different context, a phrase you read and then heard within a few hours. Pay attention to what is repeating. The repetition is the point. Heaven repeats what it wants, underlined. The 5th sign is the one that makes most chosen ones uncomfortable, because it cannot be explained logically. You have known something today before it actually happened. A small premonition, a flicker of knowing that arrived a beat before the event. Maybe you reached for your phone 2 seconds before it rang. Maybe you thought of someone you had not thought of in months, and within an hour they reached out. Maybe you had a flash of an image, a phrase, a memory that has not yet matched anything in your day, but you can sense it is going to. That is not coincidence. That is your watchman waking up. The 6th sign is the one most chosen ones dismiss the fastest. A name from your past has resurfaced today. A name you had not thought about in a long time, maybe in a memory, maybe in something you read, maybe in a song, maybe in a conversation that drifted there without warning. The world will tell you, your mind is just wandering. The chosen one knows, names do not surface randomly on days like this one. The name is part of the assignment. You may not understand its role yet. You will before the week is over. The seventh sign is the most important one, and you may have only felt it as a vague impression. The sense that, today, something was set in motion before it began. That before you even opened your eyes this morning, this Monday already had a shape, and the shape was waiting for you to step into it. You felt that. You may not have given it a name, but you felt it. And the reason this message has reached you in this exact hour is because that feeling needed to be confirmed by another voice, so that you would stop dismissing what you already know. So, the visible signs are not the whole picture. You already know that. The point of naming them is not to leave you sitting in the diagnosis, paralyzed, counting how many of them you have already noticed. The point of naming them is so that you can stop arguing with yourself. You have been gaslighting yourself all morning, or all afternoon, or all evening, depending on which hour of this Monday is holding you right now. You have been telling yourself, it is just a Monday. It is just my mood. It is just the weather. It is just because I did not sleep well. The world has trained you to talk yourself out of your own perception, because a chosen one whose perception is online is harder to manage than a chosen one whose perception has been talked into silence. You can stop the argument. Your perception is right. The signs are real. The pattern is real. The day is what your spirit has been telling you it is. What I want to do, in the next stretch of this conversation, is take you beneath the surface, beneath the visible disruptions, beneath the things you can point at, because there is a deeper layer of what is happening, and the deeper layer is where the actual assignment lives. The visible signs are the announcement. The deeper layer is the message itself, and the deepest layer, the one beneath even that, is the reason this Monday was placed in your path at all. What you have seen so far is only the surface of this Monday. The visible signs, the small disruptions, the strange behavior of the people around you, the inability to commit to autopilot, the synchronicities, the names resurfacing, the premonitions, the impression that today already had a shape before you woke up. All of it is the announcement, but the announcement is not the message. The message is happening underneath, in a place most chosen ones have lost the ability to read clearly, because the part of you that was designed to read it has been dimmed by the world for a long, long time. In the next portion of this conversation, we are going to descend below the surface. We are going to look at what is happening inside you, on the emotional and inner level that is not random and is not malfunction. We are going to name the heaviness that has been sitting on your chest since you woke up. We are going to name the dread that has no source. We are going to name the strange grief that visited you for no apparent reason. And once it is named, you will see why it came. After that, we will go even deeper. We will look at what is actually happening in the unseen realm on this exact Monday, the cosmic dimension of this day. The reason heaven marked this date long before the calendar reached it. And then, only then, will we be ready to talk about what to do with what you have just learned. Stay with me. The watchtower is just beginning to do its work. The first thing I want you to do, before we go any deeper, is stop holding the heaviness like it is your fault. Whatever has been sitting on your chest since you opened your eyes this morning, whatever has been weighing on you all afternoon, whatever has been keeping the corners of your mouth slightly downward all evening, it is not your fault. It is not a personality flaw. It is not because you did not sleep enough. It is not because you have failed at being grateful. It is not because you should have done more this weekend. You have been carrying a weight that was not generated by you. The world has a clinical name for what you have been feeling today: anxiety, low mood, stress response, mild depression. The world will hand you those names because the world only has tools for the surface of things. The world looks at the symptom and gives you a label, and then the label becomes the prison. But the chosen one does not live by the labels of the world. What you are feeling is not anxiety in the way the world means it. Anxiety, the way the world uses the word, is fear of an unknown future event. What you are feeling today is not future-pointed. It is present-pointed. It is the weight of something already happening that you can sense but not yet see. There is a difference, a massive difference, and the difference is the entire reason this conversation is reaching you right now. What you are feeling is your spirit telling the truth before your mind has language for it. So, let me give your mind some language. Have you noticed a kind of fatigue today that does not match the actual amount of effort you have spent? You have not run a marathon. You have not done physical labor. You may not have done much of anything yet, and yet there is a tiredness in you that feels heavier than the day should have produced. The tiredness has weight, the kind of weight that a regular 8 hours of sleep does not lift. That kind of tiredness has a name. It is the tiredness of a watchman who has been on duty without realizing he was on duty. Your spirit has been awake all night and all morning, standing at the edge of perception, watching, waiting, listening, while you tried to live your normal day on top of it. The fatigue is the result of 2 layers of effort happening simultaneously. Surface life on the top, spiritual sentry duty underneath. Have you noticed that even small interactions have felt like more work today? A short conversation that should have been easy left you feeling drained. A request that would have been simple last week feels like a heavier ask today. A small bit of social contact, a check-in, a chat, took something out of you that it normally would not have. That is not because you are becoming antisocial. That is because your nervous system is currently operating in high-resolution input mode. Every interaction is being recorded with greater detail. Every word is being weighed. Every facial expression of the person across from you is being read at a depth they do not realize. You are not just listening to what they are saying. You are listening to what is underneath what they are saying. And that level of listening costs energy. Have you noticed that something close to grief has visited you today with no clear source? A wave of sadness that came out of nowhere. A moment when your eyes started to fill, and you could not have told anyone why if they had asked. A memory of someone you have lost, surfacing without invitation. A song that hit you harder than it usually does. A photograph you walked past that suddenly stopped you. That kind of grief is not malfunction. That kind of grief is the body of the chosen one, acknowledging that something is being released today. Something is leaving. Something has to leave in order for what is coming to make room for itself. And the part of you that has carried that something for years is grieving the leaving, even before the rest of you has been told what is being released. You may not know yet what is leaving. You will, before this week ends. But your spirit knows. And your spirit is already saying goodbye, in the only language it has, which is the language of unexplained tears and unexpected memory. Have you noticed a strange hypersensitivity today? The kind that makes a slightly thoughtless comment from someone close to you land harder than it should. The kind that makes a piece of news from someone else's life feel personal, even though it has nothing to do with you. The kind that makes you tear up at something that should have been unremarkable. The kind that makes you want to retreat from rooms that normally feel fine. That hypersensitivity is also not malfunction. The chosen one becomes more permeable on days when the spiritual signal is strong. Permeable means that the boundary between you and what is around you becomes thinner. You feel things you normally would not feel. You pick up things you normally would not pick up. The walls drop, not because you are weak, but because the day is requiring high-resolution input, and the walls would block it. The world will tell you to harden up. The world will tell you to grow thicker skin. The world will tell you to stop being so sensitive. Do not listen to the world today. Today is not a day for thicker skin. Today is a day for thinner skin, more careful skin, skin that can feel the spiritual texture of what is moving around you. The hypersensitivity is the instrument. Do not silence the instrument because the song has not yet started. There is something else I want you to notice, because most chosen ones do not give it a name. There has been a moment today, maybe more than one moment, where you have felt a kind of split. Two layers of you operating at the same time. The outer layer doing the tasks of the day, answering the messages, holding the conversations, going through the motions, and underneath, a deeper layer, just watching, standing back, slightly removed, not dissociated in a clinical way, simply observant, as if a part of you has stepped to the side and is paying attention to your own life from a slight distance. That split is not a problem. That split is the watchman in you separating from the busy self in you, so that the watchman can do his work without being constantly pulled back into routine. On ordinary days, the watchman and the busy self overlap. On a Monday like this one, they need to operate independently. The watchman needs altitude. The busy self needs to keep functioning. So your inner architecture is letting them separate on purpose, and you are feeling the seam between them. Honor the seam. Do not try to close it back up. The seam is what allows your perception to do its job today. There is a story in the older books that captures this exact inner experience, even though most chosen ones never connect the dots. It is the story of a man named Nehemiah, rebuilding the wall of a city that had been broken for a long, long time. The wall was the protection of his people. It had been torn down. The rubble had sat for so long that the people had stopped noticing it. Nehemiah arrived with permission to rebuild, but the moment he started rebuilding, opposition arrived. Voices outside the wall trying to sabotage the work. Threats, mockery, plots whispered in the surrounding regions, letters sent to discourage him. Visitors who pretended to be allies, but were actually scouts for those who wanted the work to fail. Nehemiah did not stop the rebuilding, but he could not just keep building either. So he did something the chosen ones have done in every generation since. He gave the workers two tools, a trowel for the building, a sword for the watching. Each man on the wall worked with one hand and held a weapon in the other. Some carried the building materials with one hand and held the spear in the other. Some kept their swords on their hip while they laid the stones. The ones who carried building materials had to do it one-handed. Half the workforce stood guard while the other half built. They slept in their clothes. They never put down the sword. The wall was finished in 52 days. What I want you to see in that story is not the wall. The wall is the obvious part. What I want you to see is the inner condition of every single person on that wall. Every one of them was operating in dual mode, building and watching at the same time, trowel and sword, construction and vigilance. They could not afford to put either one down. The work would not get done if they only watched. The wall would fall if they only built, so they did both. That is your inner condition right now. You have been building all morning, or all afternoon, or all evening. The trowel has been in your hand. You have been doing the actual tasks of your life, answering the things, showing up for the people, carrying the responsibilities. And underneath, the sword has been in your other hand. The watchman in you has not put it down since the weekend ended. He cannot put it down. He is still scanning the horizon while the rest of you is laying stones on the wall. The reason you are tired in a way that does not match your effort is because you have been operating with two hands, occupied for longer than you realize. The reason small interactions have felt heavier is because the watching half of you is doing additional labor while the building half talks to people. The reason you cannot fully relax into routine tasks is because Nehemiah's workers could not fully relax either. They never got to. The wall they were building was real. The threat outside was also real. They were not paranoid. They were responding to actual conditions. The fact that the work felt harder, slower, more exhausting than rebuilding a wall should have felt was not a sign of weakness. It was the cost of doing two assignments at once. You are doing two assignments at once today. The trowel work is your normal life. The sword work is reading this Monday. Honor both. Do not pretend the sword is not in your hand. So, now, I want you to remember the watchman on the watchtower we talked about earlier. The image of you standing at the edge of the kingdom, watching the horizon at dawn. Hold that image in your mind for a moment, because the watchman has been pacing, and the pacing has been costing you something, and now you understand why your morning, or your afternoon, or your evening has felt heavier than the actual events of the day would explain. The watchman has been pacing all weekend. That is why your mornings have felt distant from the people around you. That is why your prayers have felt like they were being spoken into a longer distance than usual. That is why your usual peace has felt slightly delayed, as if it had to travel further to reach you. The watchman is not your enemy. He is your assignment. He is also your gift. He is the part of you that has not forgotten how to listen, even when the rest of you forgot. He has been pacing because he has been seeing what you have not yet given yourself permission to see. And now we descend deeper, because the visible layer of this Monday and the inner layer of this Monday are still not the deepest place this conversation is going to take you. There is one more layer, the cosmic layer, the layer that almost no one names because almost no one has the categories for it anymore. Most days are not equal. The world treats every day like it is interchangeable with every other day. 24 hours, same number of minutes, same calendar square. The world thinks of days the way a factory thinks of products, identical units rolling off a line. The chosen one has always known better. There are days that arrive in your life with a different signature than other days, a different weight, a different kind of attention from the unseen realm, a different relationship to the larger story your life is part of. The old prophets knew this. The desert mothers knew this. The hidden teachers in every tradition that has survived more than 2,000 years knew this. They did not invent the idea. They observed it. This Monday is one of those days. There is an old word for what is happening today. The word does not come from English. It comes from much older soil. The word is a Hebrew word, and the word is shamar. Shamar means to watch. It also means to guard. It also means to keep. It is the word used in the very beginning of Genesis, where the first man is placed in the garden, and his assignment is given as two verbs, to dress and to keep. The keeping is shamar. From the very first chapter of the human story, the chosen ones were given the same dual assignment Nehemiah's wall builders carried. Tend the garden, guard the garden, build and watch. Trowel and sword. Shamar shows up again in the Psalms, where the writer says, "The Lord is thy keeper." The keeping is shamar, the same word. What the chosen one is supposed to do for the garden is what the Most High is doing for the chosen one. There is a watcher above the watcher. The watchman on the tower has a watchman watching over him. He is not watching alone. That is the cosmic structure of days like today. There is a layer of watching happening on every level of the universe at once. Heaven is watching the day. The Father is watching you. You are watching the horizon. Your spirit is watching your day. Your body is registering what your spirit is watching. Layer after layer of perception, all activated together, like a series of nested circles, all turning in the same direction. That is why this Monday feels different. Not because the calendar changed, because all the layers of watching are in alignment today. They are not in alignment every Monday. They are in alignment on this one. There are forces that benefit from your inability to read days like this one. I do not say that to make you afraid. I say that to make you accurate. The world you live in has been organized, slowly, over generations, in a way that makes the chosen one less and less able to read the spiritual texture of time. Schools have an incentive to dim your perception early, because a chosen one whose perception is online is harder to standardize. Markets have an incentive to keep you in survival rhythm, because a chosen one in survival rhythm consumes more and questions less. The constant cycle of small information overload has an incentive to keep your nervous system at a baseline of mild alarm, because alarmed people scroll, and scrolling is the resource being harvested. I am not naming villains. I am naming a pattern. The pattern is not personal. It is structural. And you have been swimming in the pattern your entire life. The dimming has been happening since you were a child. The closing of the receiving channel has been happening since you became an adult. By the time a Monday like this one arrives, the watchman in you is operating on a fraction of the capacity he was originally given. He still does his job. He still pages you. He still tries to send the signal up to your conscious awareness. But the signal has to fight through layers of noise that were not there when you were 7. That is why most chosen ones in your generation feel a Monday like this one as horror. Not because the day is horror, because the perception is dimmed, and dimmed perception interprets weight as threat. There are 4 things happening on this Monday that no one else around you is going to name out loud, but that I want you to know about. Before we go any further, the first thing happening is that a long-running pattern in your life is being asked to break. There is a cycle you have been in. You know the cycle. You do not need me to name it. It has been repeating for longer than you wanted it to. It is the kind of cycle that, every time it comes around, you tell yourself, this is the last time, and then it comes around again, and you tell yourself again. Today is the day the cycle is being given a doorway out. Whether or not you walk through the doorway is part of what is being decided in these hours. The doorway will not stay open all week. It is open today. It may be open tomorrow. By Wednesday, it will not look the same. The second thing happening is that a relationship in your life is being repositioned without anyone announcing it. Someone in your circle is being moved by the same current that is moving you into a new configuration with you. You will feel the configuration change before they do. You may already have felt it today. A small distance where there was none. A small closeness where there was not closeness. A small shift in tone in a person who normally has a steady tone with you. The repositioning is not a rejection of you, if it is a distance. It is not a sudden new attachment, if it is a closeness. It is the universe rearranging the architecture of who is supposed to walk with you into the next chapter and who is supposed to step back. Trust the rearrangement. Do not fight it. The third thing happening is that a piece of provision that was scheduled to arrive on a different day is being moved up to today, or in some cases, being delayed, on purpose, to arrive precisely when it can do the most good for the next chapter of your story. You will not always know which it is, but there is provision in motion right now that is calibrated to your name. The form will not always look like what you were expecting. The wisdom is to receive whatever does arrive today as part of the calibration, instead of grading it against the version you were imagining. The fourth thing happening is the most important, and it is the one almost no one will tell you. There is a confirmation being placed in your path today, a sign, a small one, not a thunderclap. A quiet, easy-to-miss confirmation that what you have been sensing about your direction in life is correct. You have been wondering, you have been questioning yourself. You have been asking, am I on the right path? Is this calling real? Is this what I am supposed to do? Is this who I am supposed to be? Today, somewhere in the remaining hours, a small confirmation will reach you. The size of the confirmation will not match the weight of the question. Do not measure them against each other. Heaven does not deliver confirmations the way the world delivers proof. Heaven delivers them in a register that only the chosen one can read. Stay open. Now, let me ask you to do something here in the middle of this conversation that has nothing to do with new content and everything to do with not breaking under the weight of what we are discussing. Just rest for a moment. You have been listening for a while now. You have been carrying real attention, undefended attention, the kind of attention that costs something to give. There is no requirement to keep that level of attention going for the next stretch. The next stretch will come. There will be more to listen to. None of it is leaving, but for the next few seconds, you do not have to do anything. You do not have to receive anything. You do not have to remember anything. You do not have to make any decisions. You do not have to figure out what to do with what we have discussed. You do not have to rehearse the 4 things in your head. You do not have to plan how you are going to apply any of this. Just be in the room you are in. Just be in the seat you are sitting in, or the bed you are lying in, or the road you are driving along. The window of light, wherever it is for you right now, is the same light it was a few minutes ago. The temperature in the room has not changed. The world outside has not collapsed during this conversation. Things are still standing. People you love are still where they were. The future is not ending while you sit here listening. You have come further today than you were given credit for. You woke up. You moved through whatever you have moved through so far. You stayed willing enough to find this conversation. You have stayed willing enough not to walk away from it once it got heavier than you expected. That is not nothing. That is faith doing its work, in a quieter form than the religious imagination usually paints. Faith does not always look like raised hands and loud declarations. Sometimes faith looks like the chosen one staying in their seat through a long message, even when the message asks more from them than they thought they could give. Stay where you are. The next stretch is going to be the most important one yet. There is one more thing I want to mention before we descend further, and I will keep it brief, because it is not the focus of this conversation. There is also another tool I have referenced in a few past messages, sometimes called Destiny's Embrace, that some chosen ones have been pulled toward in seasons that look like this one. I am not going to develop it here. It has its own purpose, and that purpose is for another day. But for those who have noticed it surfacing in past conversations, it is still there, not for today. Today's conversation is about something else. Today's conversation is about what is sitting on your watchtower wall with you while you do the work of reading this Monday correctly. So back to Nehemiah for a moment, because there is one detail in his story that I have not yet given you, and the detail is the one that matters most for where we are about to go. When the wall was finished, when the work was complete, when the rebuilding was done, the workers did not put down the sword right away. The sword stayed. The watching stayed. Not at the same intensity, but the function did not disappear. They had developed something during the rebuild that did not retire when the rebuild ended. They had become a people who knew how to build and watch at the same time. Even after the wall stood, the watching had become part of who they were. That is what is happening to you on a longer timeline. This is not the only Monday like this you will have. Days like this one have been arriving in your life, on and off, for longer than you have given yourself permission to recognize. Each one has been a piece of training. Each one has been adding to the watchman in you. You are not at the beginning of this. You are further along than you think. The reason today feels heavier than the previous ones is not because today is harder than them. It is because you are more aware than you were the last time a day like this came around. Awareness has a weight. The first time a chosen one starts to consciously perceive the spiritual texture of time, the perception itself is exhausting. The perception will become lighter. Right now, it is heavy because it is new in your conscious awareness, even though it has been operating in you since you were a child. So now, look at your watchtower again. The fog on the horizon has begun to thin slightly. The dawn light, if you have stayed at your post long enough, has started to do what dawn light does. It separates shapes from each other. The blur of the fog begins to resolve into actual forms. Some of the forms are still indistinct, but the indistinctness itself is information. You can tell now that there are more things moving out there than you initially thought. Some of them are moving closer. Some of them are moving away. Some of them are not moving at all. They are simply standing where they were already standing, waiting for the light to reach them. Hold that image, because the light is about to reach the most important shape on the horizon, the shape that, until now, has been hidden inside the fog. The shape that, when you finally see it clearly, will explain everything else. The reason you have not been able to see this clearly until now has a name. Two names, actually. Two reasons your watchman has been struggling to read the horizon. Two reasons days like this one usually slip past you. Two reasons your spirit has been petitioning heaven without your conscious permission for this conversation to find you, and in the next stretch of this conversation, I am going to name them out loud, both of them, without softening either one. What I am going to name is going to feel personal, because it is personal. The dimming of your sight did not happen to humanity in general. It happened to you, to the specific child you were, to the specific adult you became. The two names will sound technical at first. Do not let the technical language fool you. The names point to something that is intimately yours. Once you understand the two names, this entire Monday is going to become legible to you. And once it becomes legible, you are not going to need horror as a category for it anymore. You will have a different category, a truer one, a category the chosen ones in every generation before you would have recognized. Stay with me. The watchtower is about to do exactly what it was built to do. The reason your watchman has been struggling to read this Monday clearly is not because he is weak. It is not because he failed at his assignment. It is not because you have done something wrong, or because you have not prayed enough, or because your spiritual life has been inconsistent. The reason has a name, and the name does not point to a flaw in you. The name points to something that was done to you, slowly, almost invisibly, beginning when you were a small child and continuing every year since. The first reason is called the decline effect. I want you to hold that name for a moment. Decline effect. Because the name itself contains the diagnosis. Something in you that was once high has declined. Something in you that once operated at full strength has been dimmed. Something in you that was naturally yours by birth has been slowly turned down by the world around you until you almost forgot it had ever been there. Researchers in laboratories at MIT, at Princeton, at Harvard, and at other leading research institutions spent decades measuring a specific frequency of brain activity in human beings of different ages. The frequency is called gamma. Gamma is the highest frequency the human brain produces. Gamma is the frequency of insight, the frequency of curiosity, the frequency of effortless learning, the frequency of those moments when the right answer drops into your mind from somewhere you cannot quite locate. Gamma is the frequency that corresponds, in the spiritual register, to the perception your watchman uses to read days like this one. What the researchers found was simple, and it changed everything for the people who took it seriously. Children produce gamma in abundance, almost continuously. A young child's brain is bathed in gamma for most of their waking hours. That is why young children learn languages without effort. That is why they ask the kind of questions that make adults uncomfortable. That is why they see things adults have stopped seeing. That is why they feel safe in places adults have stopped feeling, and unsafe in places adults have stopped reading. The young child's perception is wide open, because the frequency that powers wide open perception is fully active. And then, around the age of 7, something begins to change. The gamma starts to decline, slowly at first, then more steadily, year after year, decade after decade. The frequency that was once the standard background of the chosen one's mind becomes rarer and rarer. By the time the chosen one is in their 30s, gamma is mostly silent. By their 40s and 50s, it surfaces only in occasional moments, brief and unpredictable, before sliding back beneath the surface. The researchers gave the phenomenon the name, the decline effect. What they could not measure, but what the chosen ones have always known, is what the decline means in the larger story of your life. The frequency they were measuring is not just a brainwave, it is a wavelength of perception. It is the channel on which your spirit was designed to read the room, read the day, read the people in front of you, read the texture of the time you are living through. When the channel is open, the chosen one walks through life with a kind of effortless seeing. They notice things others miss. They sense the shape of a situation before the situation announces itself. They know who to trust without having to gather evidence. They know which days are ordinary and which days are loaded. When the channel is dimmed, the chosen one still has the assignment to read the day. But the instrument they are reading with is operating on a fraction of its original capacity. So they get fragments. They get hunches. They get vague impressions. They get the feeling that something is going on, but they cannot quite see what it is. They get the heaviness of perception without the resolution of perception. That is the entire experience you have been having today. You have not been failing to read this Monday. You have been reading it on a dimmed instrument. The reading is still happening. The frequency is just much lower than it would have been if the world had not slowly turned the dial down on you for the last several decades. This is not your fault. The dimming was done to you. I want to be honest with you about something, because the chosen ones deserve the truth in the simplest form. The dimming did not happen by accident. It also did not happen because of a single villain or a single conspiracy. It happened because the structures we live inside are organized in a way that benefits from a population whose gamma is low. A child whose gamma is full asks questions that the standard educational system is not built to answer. A young adult whose gamma is full notices contradictions in the messages they are receiving from the larger culture. A grown chosen one whose gamma is full reads the room of their workplace, their relationships, their consumption patterns, with a clarity that makes them harder to manage and harder to sell to. So, the structures that surround the chosen one, from the schools to the screens to the steady drip of low-grade overstimulation, all push in the same general direction, toward dimming the frequency, toward narrowing the perception, toward turning the wide-open child mind into a narrow, distracted, busy adult mind that can do tasks but cannot read days. I am not naming villains, I am naming a pattern. The pattern has been operating on you since you were small. By the time you were 7, the pattern had begun. By the time you were a teenager, it was well advanced. By the time you reached adulthood, the dimmed mind was the only mind you remembered having. You did not choose the dimming, you inherited it. Every chosen one in your generation inherited it. But what was done can be undone. The chosen one was not born to live with a dimmed frequency. The chosen one was born as something the older traditions called a child of light. The Hebrew imagination called it the same. The Greek imagination called it the same. The desert teachers called it the same. There was a recognition across many old traditions that human beings, in their original condition, perceive the world with a fullness of vision that is mostly lost by adulthood. The teachers in those traditions did not invent the loss. They observed it, and they spent their lives looking for the way back. The way the chosen one could become, again, what they had been before the dimming, not by going backward in age, by going forward into a different kind of clarity, where the wide-open seeing of the child returns to the chosen one as an adult. There is a teaching, very ancient, very famous, that says the kingdom belongs to those who become like little children. Most chosen ones who have heard that teaching assumed it was a moral teaching. Be humble, be innocent, be trusting. The moral interpretation is fine, but it is not the deepest layer. The deepest layer is that the teaching was describing a frequency. The teacher who said it was naming the wide-open perception of the child mind, and was telling the chosen ones around him that the kingdom, the unseen reality of how things actually work, is only legible to those who recover that frequency. Adults who have been fully dimmed cannot read the kingdom. The dimmed mind sees only the surface. The child mind sees the depth. Few realized he was describing a frequency. Even fewer realized he was describing the precondition for everything else he ever taught. So now we can be honest about what the watchman has been struggling with on this Monday. He has been trying to read a day that requires the high resolution of the child mind frequency while operating on a long-dimmed instrument. He has been getting partial signal. He has been getting the weight of what is happening, but not the picture of what is happening. He has been telling you all morning, all afternoon, all evening that something is going on, but he has not been able to give you the full sentence, only the syllables. Now, the syllables make sense. They do not make sense because he failed. They make sense because the dimming is real. The dimming has been operating on you since you were small, and the dimming is the first reason this Monday has felt like horror instead of revelation. But I told you there were 2 names. 2 reasons your perception has been struggling. The decline effect is the first. It is the dimming of the seeing. The second is not about seeing. The second is about receiving. Even if your gamma were fully restored, even if your watchman were operating at the full clarity of the child mind frequency, even if the fog on the horizon had completely lifted and you could see every shape arriving on this Monday with perfect resolution, there would still be a problem. And the problem would be this. You would see what is being delivered to you, but you would not be able to receive it. The receiving channel of the chosen one has been closed by something different from what dimmed the seeing. The receiving channel has been closed by a second frequency operating in a different register that has hijacked the part of you designed to draw in the protection, the provision, the wisdom, the connection, the very love being held out toward you on days like today. The second name is the stress signal. Stress signal points to a frequency called beta. Beta is the brainwave of survival mode. Beta is what runs in your nervous system when something requires immediate attention, immediate vigilance, immediate readiness to respond to threat. Beta is not bad. Beta is what kept your ancestors alive when they had to react quickly to a real predator. Beta is what carries you through a genuine emergency. The problem is not that beta exists. The problem is what happened when modern life made beta the default operating state of the adult chosen one. The chosen one in your generation has been living in beta for so long that they no longer recognize they are in it. The constant low alarm, the background hum of financial worry that never quite goes off, the pressure of obligations that never empty out, the steady drip of small notifications, small interruptions, small reasons to keep the nervous system slightly elevated. Modern life has effectively trained the chosen one to live in chronic survival mode, even when no actual survival event is occurring. Living in beta has a cost. The cost is that another frequency, the one your spirit was designed to use for receiving, has been crowded out. The frequency for receiving is called alpha. Alpha is the wavelength of the calm, present, open-hearted state. Alpha is the frequency of being able to actually take in what is being given to you. Alpha is the channel through which the chosen one was designed to draw in protection from the unseen, provision from the seen, connection from the people they love, and confirmation from the larger story they are part of. When alpha is open, the chosen one can receive what is being delivered. When alpha is closed, the chosen one stays empty even when the delivery has arrived. The package is on the doorstep. The door is locked from the inside. You have known this experience. You may not have given it this name, but you have lived inside the experience. Have there been moments in your life when something good happened, something that was supposed to be a blessing, and you could not actually feel the goodness of it? You knew, intellectually, that you were supposed to be grateful. You knew the event was a positive one, but underneath the knowing, you were strangely unable to take the blessing in. The blessing arrived, and it stayed at the door. You did not get to absorb it. By the next day, you could not even remember why it had felt like a blessing in the first place. Have you had relationships where someone offered you real love, real support, real attention, and you could not let it land? You wanted to. You watched yourself failing to. You felt the love being held out toward you and felt your own inability to take it inside, as if there were a thin pane of glass between you and the love. And the glass would not lift, no matter how hard you tried. Have you had answered prayers that did not feel like answered prayers, because by the time the answer arrived, you were already too tired, too distracted, too embedded in the next worry to actually receive what had come? That is the closed receiving channel. That is alpha being suppressed by stress signal. The deliveries kept arriving. You kept not being able to take them in. This is also not your fault. The closing of the channel did not happen because you have a flawed character. It happened because the frequency that closes the channel is the frequency the modern world has trained you every single day of your adult life to operate inside of. So now you have both names. The decline effect dimmed the seeing. The stress signal closed the receiving. Together, they explain why this Monday has felt like horror. The day arrived, full of its assignment, full of provision, full of confirmation, full of everything heaven set in your path for this exact date. Your watchman tried to read it, and the seeing was dimmed. Your spirit tried to receive it, and the channel was closed. So, what reached your conscious awareness was the weight of all of it, without the clarity of any of it. The pressure without the picture, the arrival without the absorption. That experience of being weighed down by something you cannot see and cannot take in is what the world has labeled with words like dread, anxiety, and horror. The world labels it that way because the world only has words for the symptom. The chosen one now has the words for the cause. There is one more thing I want to put in your hand before we move on, because something about the order of these two reasons matters more than most people realize. The decline effect came first in your life. The dimming of the seeing began when you were small. The stress signal came later, layered on top of it, building over your adult years. The restoration has to happen in the same order. You cannot restore the receiving channel in a chosen one whose seeing has been dimmed for 30 years. The open channel would have nothing clear to receive into, because the inner space is still operating with the dimmed perception of the long-dimmed mind. The channel would open, the deliveries would come in, and the dimmed mind would still not know what to do with them. It would still interpret them as random, or coincidence, or as luck, or as nothing at all. The seeing has to come back first. The child mind has to be reawakened first. And only after the seeing is restored, only after the chosen one has remembered how to perceive with the original frequency they were born with, does the receiving channel know what to receive into. The teaching that says the kingdom belongs to those who become like little children was never just a moral instruction. It was a sequence. First, become like the child. Then, the kingdom can flow into the awakened seeing, not the other way around. Almost every spiritual tool you have ever tried has failed for the same reason. It tried to open the receiving channel without first restoring the seeing. It put new water into a vessel that could no longer recognize water. The water flowed. The vessel stayed empty. Before I show you the tools that exist for exactly this dual restoration, because I will show you, there is one more thing that has to land in you. Without it, what comes next will be heard, but not received. And this Monday cannot afford to be heard, but not received. So let me say what I am about to say in the simplest language I have, the kind of language that does not need the metaphor of the watchtower or the sword or the wall. Just the plain truth in 3 sentences before we go on. Here is what is going on. The reason this Monday has felt like horror to you, and the reason most days that carry weight feel like horror to chosen ones in your generation, is that 2 old, slow processes have been operating on you for years. The decline effect has been dimming the perception you were born with since you were about 7 years old. The stress signal has been closing the channel through which you would naturally receive what is being given to you since adulthood took its grip. Here is what needs to happen. The seeing needs to be restored before the receiving can be restored. Child mind first, reception second. The order is not optional. The order is the entire reason most spiritual approaches the chosen one has tried have not produced the change the chosen one was hoping for. Here is who you are in this. You are not a chosen one with a broken instrument. You are a chosen one with a dimmed instrument. The instrument is intact. It has been turned down, not destroyed. The dimming is reversible. The closing is reversible. What was done to you, slowly, over years, can be undone, deliberately, in a much shorter time than the dimming took. So now hear what I am going to say next, because this is where the conversation turns from diagnosis to restoration. You were not born ordinary. The chosen one walking through this Monday was not born with a dimmed frequency. You were born with the full child mind frequency online. You were born with the receiving channel wide open. You were born as what the older traditions called a child of light, which is not a poetic flourish. It is a description of the actual condition of the human being at birth. The gamma was full. The alpha was full. The watchman in you was awake from the very beginning. The world is what dimmed both, in the order I have described. You are not trying to become someone you have never been. You are trying to return to who you have always been. There is a massive difference. The first task would be impossible. The second task is the natural movement of the chosen one's life once the path is clearly seen. There is a memory in you, perhaps you can locate it as I describe it, of a brief stretch of your earliest childhood when the world was different than it became, when colors were more vivid, when time felt longer, When you notice things about people that the adults around you did not seem to notice. When the air itself, in certain rooms, felt heavier or lighter, charged or empty, in ways you could feel without explaining. When you knew, in advance, that someone was about to walk into the room. When you felt, in advance, that a place was not safe before any reason had been given. When the ordinary objects of your house, the worn corner of a couch, the way the light fell on a window in the late afternoon, the sound of a particular door closing somewhere down the hall, carried a fullness of presence that adult life slowly stopped producing. That was not your imagination. That was the original condition of your perception. That child was not naive. That child was tuned. The two frequencies, gamma and alpha, were both running at the levels they were designed to run at. The wide-open seeing and the wide-open receiving were both online. The chosen one you have been describing as your real self, the version of you who would feel this Monday differently, perceive it clearly, receive what it is bringing, walk through it cleanly. That chosen one is not a future invention. That chosen one is a return. The two-wave restoration is not a manufacture. It is a remembering of what you were before the dimming began. So now we step into the restoration itself, carefully, without rushing. Because the restoration was developed by two different researchers, in two different decades, in two different fields, and each one of them, working separately, mapped one half of what was done to you and one half of how to reverse it. The first researcher's work addresses the first dimming, the decline effect, the dimming of the seeing. His name is Dr. Robert Lake. He spent 34 years researching what happens to the brain across the lifespan and what happens specifically to the gamma frequency that is so abundant in children and so rare in adults. The work was done in collaboration with research teams at MIT, at Princeton, at Harvard, and at other leading research institutions. The conclusion, after decades of measurement, was that gamma is not lost. Gamma is suppressed. The frequency is still in the adult brain. It has simply been turned down, layer by layer, year by year, by everything the adult chosen one has lived through. Which means, if the suppression can be reversed, the frequency can return. After 3 decades of research, Dr. Lake built a tool that does exactly that. The tool has a name, and the name is the Genius Song. The Genius Song is not a course. It is not a meditation program. It is not a long retreat. It is not a discipline that takes years to master. The Genius Song is a short audio, 7 minutes long. You wear headphones. You close your eyes. You let it play. The audio uses a technology called brain entrainment, which delivers slightly different sound frequencies to each ear, and the difference between the two frequencies pulls the brain back toward gamma, the same gamma frequency you had when you were a child, the same gamma frequency the world dimmed, the same gamma frequency your watchman has been desperately trying to operate without. The mechanism is not mystical, it is measurable. The effect can be observed in laboratory settings on instruments designed for that purpose. The chosen one who uses it does not have to take any of it on faith. The frequency either rises or it does not. In the chosen ones who have used it, again and again, across thousands of cases, it rises. What it does, in plain language, is wake the child mind, the first wave of restoration. The dimming begins to reverse, the wide-open seeing begins to come back. Dr. Lake's research lineage runs through MIT, through Princeton, through Harvard, and through several other leading research institutions that have spent decades studying the same brain frequency from different angles. He did not arrive at this work alone. He arrived as the person who finally took the converging research and built the tool the data was pointing toward. 34 years of measurement, hundreds of studies. The same conclusion, surfacing again and again. the child mind frequency can be restored. What the genius song does, in the simplest possible language, is reverse the decline effect. The dimming begins to lift, the wide-open seeing of the child mind begins to come back. Curiosity returns. Openness returns. The strange, magical feeling of being able to read the room, read the day, read the people in front of you, the feeling you had when you were small and lost when you were busy, begins to surface again. Not all at once, in waves, in small moments at first, then in longer stretches. The genius song does not promise to make you a genius overnight. The genius song promises something much more useful. It promises the first wave of restoration, the waking up of the child within you, the return of the perception you were born with. After that wave has done its work, the chosen ones who walk this path further sometimes encounter another audio called the youthful brain. It is a stronger, amplified version of the same restoration, used by many chosen ones who go deeper down this road, and it tends to surface after the original audio has already taken hold in them. The original alone is complete. The youthful brain is for those whose spirit calls it forward after the first restoration has settled. Do not overthink it. Spirit will know. So, that is the first wave, the seeing, the waking of the child mind, the reversal of the long dimming. But the seeing is only half of the restoration. You can already sense, in your own life, why the seeing alone is not enough. The decline effect was the first thing the world did to you. It was not the only thing. The world layered a second mechanism on top of the first one, beginning when you became an adult. And that second mechanism is the one that has been keeping you from receiving what your seeing is supposed to be drawing toward you. The child mind in you can wake up, and that is real progress, and it is the first wave that has to happen. But the child within you who has just woken up will quickly notice something painful. She can see now. She can perceive now. She can read the day. She can read the people. She can sense what is being delivered toward her. And yet, she still cannot quite reach for what is hers. The seeing is restored, but the receiving is still closed. She is awake, but the door her hands need to push open is still locked from the other side. That is the second layer. That is the layer genius song does not address. A second researcher, working in a completely different decade, in a completely different field, mapped what was happening on that second layer. His name is Dr. Stephen Newton. He worked, originally, inside the established research community at Stanford University, where he studied the relationship between brainwave activity and the human nervous system's ability to receive, retain, and respond to incoming signals. After many years inside that established research community, Dr. Newton broke from the mainstream framework and pursued a question that the mainstream framework was not interested in answering. The question was this: why do so many adults, even when they can see clearly what is being held out to them, fail to actually take it in? The mainstream answer was psychological. The mainstream said, it is mindset, it is trauma, it is unresolved childhood material, it is a need for therapy. Dr. Newton's research, conducted at Stanford, with collaborators at Boston University and at other research institutions, found that the deeper answer was physiological, with a spiritual layer underneath. The deeper answer was that a specific frequency of brain activity, the survival frequency we have already named the stress signal, had been dialed up so high in the modern adult that it was crowding out the receiving frequency. The receiving frequency, alpha, was not damaged. It was buried under a constant low alarm that the chosen one had stopped recognizing as alarm because it had become the background of their entire adult life. What Dr. Newton built after his research crossed that threshold is a second tool. The tool has a name, and the name is the wealth signal. The wealth signal is also a short audio, 5 minutes long. Like the genius song, it works through brain frequency calibration, but the calibration moves the brain in a different direction. The wealth signal is designed to deactivate the stress signal and restore the alpha frequency, to turn down the survival hum, to open the receiving channel that has been closed for so long. The chosen one has forgotten what it feels like to actually take in what is being given to them. Paired with the audio is a second element called the 9-word wealth script. It is an ancient sequence. The roots of the script are in a Hindu tradition that is roughly 3,300 years old. The script bypasses something Dr. Newton mapped in his research called neural rigidity at the thalamus, which is the deep brain structure that decides what gets through to your conscious awareness and what gets filtered out. When neural rigidity is high, even the things you most want to receive are filtered before they reach you. The script, used in conjunction with the audio, gently lowers the rigidity, and what was being filtered before begins to land. What the wealth signal does, in the simplest possible language, is reopen the channel through which the chosen one was originally designed to receive. The protection that has been waiting for you, the provision that has been routed toward you, the wisdom that has been spoken over you, the connection that has been held out toward you, the Father giving as Father gives, the kingdom flowing into the chosen one the way it was originally meant to flow, as the child receives, not as the adult earns. When you secure the wealth signal, you will see another audio called Wealth Signal Accelerator. It amplifies the receiving channel many times faster, and many chosen ones already on this path are using it. The original alone is complete. The accelerator is for those whose spirit confirms going deeper. If it does not speak to you, leave it. The wealth signal by itself is enough. And one last note about both. Some chosen ones who walk the furthest combine wealth signal accelerator with the youthful brain, the two amplifications working together. You will encounter both after you secure the originals, only if your spirit calls them forward. The originals alone are complete. The combination is reserved for those whose path requires going deeper than most. So now, you have heard both names. The genius song, the wealth signal. The first reverses the dimming. The second reopens the receiving. They were not designed together. They were developed separately, in different decades, by different researchers, in different fields, and they were brought together because the chosen ones who used one of them began to discover the limit of using only one. The seeing alone left them awake but unable to reach. The receiving alone left them open but unable to read what they were receiving. Used together, in the right sequence, they restore both halves of what was done to you. The wide-open seeing of the child, the wide-open receiving of the child. The two waves of the original frequency you were born with, working together again, the way they were always meant to. I want to put two faces on this, before we go any further, so that what we have been discussing does not stay abstract. There was a man, in his late 40s, working in sales management in Phoenix. He had been working 60 hours a week for 5 years straight, after a promotion that, on paper, was supposed to make his life easier. The income had risen, the recognition had arrived. By every external measure, he was doing well. By every internal measure, he was running on empty. His wife told him, more than once, that he was not really there in the evenings anymore. His income kept going up while his presence kept going down. 11 days into using the wealth signal, he noticed something he had not been able to do for 2 years. He started to renegotiate the boundaries of his work. He had been wanting to do this for a long time. The thought had crossed his mind hundreds of times. But every time, the survival frequency would override the thought, and he would end up agreeing to one more demand on his time. After 11 days, The override stopped working. He held the boundary. He then held a second one. His sales numbers did not drop. For the first time in 4 years, he had a weekend where he did not check his work messages. The change was not really about the work. It was about presence. The receiving channel had cracked back open, and he was finally able to receive his own life again. There was a woman, 43 years old, a teacher in Texas. She had spent the previous decade pouring her energy into helping students grow, while feeling, in her own life, like she was stuck in place. She described her own mind, in her words, as a machine running at 30% of its capacity. The ideas would not come. The decisions would not arrive. The clarity she had once known as a younger woman seemed to have left her sometime in her 30s without saying goodbye. 3 weeks into using the genius song, the ideas started arriving on their own, not slowly, in waves. A decision she had been postponing for nearly a year was made, cleanly, in a single morning. Her partner noticed something different in her, even before she had told anyone what she was doing. The change was not really about productivity. It was about the child mind waking up after a long time of being asleep. The dimming had begun to reverse, and she could finally feel her own perception come back online. I have been speaking with you for a while now, and I know what is rising in some of you because I know the chosen one. There are honest questions that have started forming in the part of you that has been listening carefully. I want to take them seriously because the chosen one deserves to have their honest questions met with honest answers. There is a question I imagine some of you are sitting with right now. The question goes something like this: why 2 tools? Why not 1? If both of these are designed to address what was done to me, why is the path made of 2 pieces instead of 1? It is a fair question. I would ask it myself. So let me answer it cleanly. The 2 tools are not redundant. They are not 2 versions of the same thing. They target 2 different brain frequencies. The genius song targets gamma, which is the frequency of seeing, of perception, of the wide-open child mind. The wealth signal targets alpha, which is the frequency of receiving, of the open channel through which delivery actually arrives. These 2 frequencies are physically distinct. No single tool calibrates for both, because no single audio signal can move the brain into 2 different frequencies simultaneously. Each tool is built for one specific frequency, and the calibration in each one is precise. There is a second reason. The order matters. The wealth signal alone, in a chosen one whose decline effect has not been reversed, runs into a wall. The receiving channel can be reopened, but the dimmed mind cannot fully take in what is now flowing through it. The deliveries arrive, and the dimmed mind interprets them as coincidence, or luck, or random good fortune, and they pass through without being recognized for what they are. Wealth signal alone, without the genius song first, is the door without the eyes. The deliveries do not stop. The recognition does not start. The genius song alone, on the other hand, restores the seeing without restoring the receiving. The chosen one wakes up. The child mind comes back online. The perception sharpens, and the chosen one can see, finally, what is being held out toward them. But the receiving channel is still closed by the stress signal, so they see the gift and cannot reach for it. They see the door open and cannot walk through it. They become, in their own life, the awakened child who is told again and again, "Here is what you have been promised," and who keeps reaching toward it and keeps finding the channel still locked. That is its own kind of suffering. It is closer to the truth than the dimmed life was, but it is not the full restoration. The order is not optional. Child mind first, reception second. The teaching that, said the chosen one, must become like little children to receive the kingdom was, among other things, a description of the sequence. First, the child returns. Then, the kingdom flows in. There is a third reason, and I will keep it short, because I want you to hear it without dressing it up. If your budget at this moment can only carry the first wave is honored. The genius song alone wakes the child within you, and the child waking up is real restoration. It is not the full path, it is the beginning of the full path. The chosen one who starts with the first wave and adds the second wave when their spirit calls them forward is walking the path the way a real path is walked, one wave at a time. Most chosen ones who reflect honestly on what they have been carrying will recognize that they need both. The two together compound. The compound is what most chosen ones we serve choose. I imagine some of you are also wondering about the financial piece. I would never disrespect your situation, whatever it is. I have been the chosen one with money in the bank, and I have been the chosen one without it. And I know that $39 feels different on different days, and $78 feels different on different days. And the moment you ask me, is this small? The only honest answer is, it depends entirely on what your week looks like. So, instead of telling you what to feel about the cost, let me give you the structure clearly. The way the path is laid out for the chosen one walking through this Monday is in 3 doors. 3 doors are placed for you. You will see all 3 of them in the description and in the pinned comment of this conversation. Each door is honored. None of them is wrong. The decision in front of you is not which one is best in the abstract. The decision is which one is yours. The first door is the one I will call the path of restoration. It is the path that begins with the first wave only. The genius song for the chosen one who can sense, in their own honest reading of themselves, that the child within is the first thing that needs to wake up. The chosen one who feels, in their bones, that what has been most missing for them is the seeing, the wide-open perception, the curiosity, the clarity, the return of the child who used to live in their eyes and has not been seen there in a long time. The first door is for them. The first door is an honored entry point. The chosen one who walks through the first door is doing real restoration. The first wave is real. It is not lesser, it is the first wave. The second door is the rarer one. It is the path that begins with the second wave only, the wealth signal, for the chosen one who has already done significant inner work, who already has a strong, active spiritual practice, who already feels the child mind alive in them on most days, but who cannot, for the life of them, seem to receive what is being held out toward them. They see the offerings they cannot reach. The second door is for them. It is a rarer path. Most chosen ones we serve do not start here, because most chosen ones we serve need the first wave first. But for the rare chosen one, whose first wave is already alive, the second door is honored. The third door is the one most chosen ones in this conversation will recognize as theirs. It is the path of complete restoration. Both waves, in the right sequence, the way the original frequencies were meant to operate together. Genius song first, wealth signal second, the child within wakes up. The receiving channel reopens, the full 2-wave stack, the complete child mind reversal. Most chosen ones who reflect honestly on what they have been carrying recognize that they need both, because both have been suppressed in them, and partial restoration is not what their spirit is asking for. The third door is the door for the chosen one, ready for the full path. The 2 waves working together compound in a way that 2 halves of a path do not. They do not simply add, they multiply. The child who has woken up and the channel that has reopened do not stay in their separate corners. They begin to operate together, the way they were originally meant to, the way they did when you were small. That is what most chosen ones we serve choose, not because of pricing, but because they recognize their own need accurately. Each day that this restoration is postponed, the two old processes continue. The decline effect continues to dim. The stress signal continues to close. The dimming and the closing compound. Not in a dramatic way, in a slow way. The kind of way that lets a chosen one wake up 10 years later and wonder where the years went. I am not telling you this to pressure you. I am telling you because the chosen ones deserve the truth about what continued postponement actually costs. There is also a version of you that already exists several years from now on the other side of this restoration. That version of you has the wide open seeing back. That version has the receiving channel open. That version is walking through Mondays like this one and reading them with effortless clarity. That version is not afraid of horror days, because that version knows that horror days are simply threshold days, and threshold days are how the chosen one's life advances. That version is looking back at this exact moment, this exact hour, this exact Monday, as the inflection point, the day she said yes to her own restoration. The day he stopped postponing the work that the world had been postponing for him for decades. I have to be honest with you about one more thing. Before we close out the section on the path, there are imitations. There are pages and audio files and products on the internet, mostly on platforms like Amazon, Spotify, and elsewhere, that have copied the names, but not the technology. The brain entrainment work in the original Genius song was the result of 34 years of research. The frequency calibration work in the original Wealth Signal was the result of decades of Stanford and Boston University research that was peer-reviewed across multiple labs. The imitations do not have any of that. They are ordinary audio. They produce ordinary results, which is to say, nothing measurable. The originals are only available in one place. The link to that place is in the description below this message and in the pinned comment beneath. Please, do not search for these tools elsewhere. The chosen one deserves the real work, not a copy of it. Now, I want you to do something gentle here. Take one breath, just one. Whatever your spirit has been doing during the past stretch of this conversation, simply notice that it has been doing it. The reaching, or the holding back, or the listening, or the slight resistance, or the quiet pull. Whatever has been happening inside you, let it be there without arguing with it. The decision in front of you is not really a financial one. The decision is not really a logistics one. The decision is which of the three paths your spirit recognizes as yours. The first wave only. The second wave only. The complete restoration. All three are honored. All three are real. None of them is the wrong choice for the chosen one whose spirit recognizes it. You are not being asked to decide right now, this very second, before you finish this conversation. You are being asked, simply, to notice what your spirit is already saying. Your spirit knows the door before your mind has finished thinking about it. The mind catches up to the spirit, not the other way around. So let your attention rest, just for a moment, on the question, which door is mine? Not which is best, not which is cheapest, which is mine. The three doors are placed below this conversation, in the description, in the pinned comment. 3 doors for the 3 paths. Step through whichever one your spirit calls forward. There is no rush. The doors do not close at midnight. But the day, this Monday, has not yet finished asking what it came to ask of you. So, whatever the spirit is recognizing, take it seriously. Now back into the deeper current of what is unfolding on this Monday. Because the path has been named, the doors have been placed, and the chosen ones whose spirit is already pulling have what they need. For all of us, including those whose spirit pulls and those whose spirit does not. There is still more conversation to have, because what is unfolding today still requires your conscious participation, with or without the tools. The tools are accelerants. They are not the entire path. The path is what you, the chosen one, are walking through with whatever you have available to you in this moment. So, let me give you the practices, 3 of them, each one named, each one usable before this Monday is over. The first practice is what I will call the 3-hour witness. The 3-hour witness is an awareness practice designed for days exactly like this one. The instruction is simple. You set, in your own day, 3 small moments of pure observation, not 3 blocks of meditation, not 3 hours of contemplation. 3 moments, each one only 60 seconds long, spread across the remaining hours of this Monday. Most chosen ones, when they hear the word awareness practice, immediately picture something elaborate, sitting cross-legged, closing the eyes, long breathing exercises. The 3-hour witness is the opposite. It does not require a specific posture. It does not require closed eyes. It does not require a quiet room. It does not require the world around you to cooperate. The 3-hour witness is something the chosen one can do while sitting in traffic, while standing at the kitchen counter, while waiting for someone to call back, while lying in bed before getting up, while reading a screen, while doing almost anything else. For 60 seconds, 3 times today, you simply do this. You stop adding commentary to what your perception is registering. You let your senses pick up what is in front of you, and you do not narrate it. You do not judge it. You do not analyze it. You do not turn it into a story. You let the room you are in be the room you are in. You let the sound around you be the sound around you. You let the texture of the moment be exactly what it is, without you arranging it into a meaning. This sounds small. It is not small. The dimmed adult mind has been adding commentary to every moment of perception for decades, and the commentary is what dims the perception further. The constant interpretation, the constant judgment, the constant turning of every sense impression into a thought is the precise mechanism by which the wide-open child mind gets quieted. 60 seconds of pure observation 3 times in a day is enough to interrupt the dimming, just slightly, in a way the chosen one can feel within minutes. The first 60 seconds, do it now if you can, or as soon as this conversation ends. Wherever you are, look at what is in your immediate field of perception without naming it. Whatever the room contains, let it contain it without you arranging it into meaning. Listen to what is around you without identifying it. Feel the temperature in the air without grading it. 60 seconds. That is the first witness moment. The second 60 seconds, find a natural pause point in the next several hours of your day. A moment between tasks. A moment when you have just sat down. A moment when you have just stood up. A moment when one thing has ended and the next thing has not yet begun. Drop into the same observation. Not narrating, not judging. 60 seconds. The third 60 seconds, do it before this Monday closes. Late afternoon, early evening, just before sleep, whichever fits your remaining hours. Same instruction. 3 60-second moments, distributed across whatever remains of your day. The reason this works is that it gives the watchman 3 small, clean windows to do his job without the dimmed adult mind narrating over him. In those 3 windows, the wide-open seeing has space to surface. After 3 days of practicing this, most chosen ones report that the seeing is starting to surface in moments outside the 3 windows as well. The witness becomes a way of being, slowly, after it begins as a structured practice. The second practice I will call the threshold decree. The threshold decree is for the moments today. And there will be moments today when you are about to make a decision that feels heavier than its size. A small choice that your spirit knows is not actually small. A reply you are about to send that feels weighted. A yes you are about to say that you are not sure of. A no you are about to give that you are also not sure of. Whatever it is, when the moment arrives, your watchman will signal it. You will feel a slight pause where there was no pause yesterday, a small hesitation, a subtle internal weight on the decision in front of you. When that signal comes, do not push past it. Use the threshold decree. The decree is simple. Before you make the choice, before you press send, before you say the words, before you give the answer, you speak one sentence. You can speak it out loud if you are alone. You can speak it silently if you are not. The sentence is constructed from a template you can shape to your own situation, but the form is this. You name what you are crossing into. You declare which version of you is making the choice. You ask for the seeing to be clear in this moment. Something like this, though you compose your own. I am crossing into a decision today, and I am letting the awakened part of me make it, and I am asking the seeing to be clear. That is it. One sentence, 3 or 4 seconds, spoken at the threshold of the decision. What it does, internally, is interrupt the autopilot that has been running over your nervous system since adulthood took its grip. The autopilot is what makes you sign the agreement you did not really want to sign. The autopilot is what makes you say yes when the answer was no. The autopilot is the stress signal deciding for you faster than your conscious will can engage. The threshold decree is a small, deliberate interruption of the autopilot, just long enough for the seeing to step in, just long enough for the awakened part of you to be the one who makes the call. You will not need to use the threshold decree on every decision. You will need it on the ones the watchman flags. He will flag them. Trust him. The third practice is the one that holds the other two together. I will call it the returning stillness. The returning stillness is a quiet receptivity practice. The instruction sounds simple. The practice itself is harder than the instruction makes it sound, because what it asks the chosen one to do is the one thing the modern adult mind has been most heavily trained against. It asks you to do nothing. For 7 minutes, 3 times across the remaining hours of this Monday, if you can arrange it, or even once if that is what your day allows, you sit. You sit in whatever seat is closest to you. You can keep your eyes open or closed. You do not pray. You do not breathe in any specific pattern. You do not recite anything. You do not try to clear your mind. You do not try to feel anything in particular. You do not try to enter any particular state. You simply allow 7 minutes to pass without filling them. If you are in a moving car right now, do not do this practice while you are driving. Save it for when you have arrived. If you are lying in bed, you can do it lying down. If you are at a desk, you can do it at the desk. If you are walking somewhere, finish the walk first, then sit. The body posture matters less than the inner posture. The inner posture is the willingness to let 7 minutes go by without doing anything productive with them. What this does, biologically, is give the gamma frequency the only thing it needs to begin returning: space. The dimming of the child mind frequency happened, in part, because there was no longer any room in the chosen one's day for the frequency to surface. Every minute of every adult day, for years, was filled with input, with task, with content, with thought, with planning, with worrying, with consuming. Gamma cannot rise in a brain that has not had a single quiet stretch in months. The frequency needs unfilled space to attempt re-emergence. 7 minutes of intentional, unfilled space, repeated, is the precondition for the wide-open seeing to begin coming back. What this does, spiritually, is give the receiving channel the only thing it needs to begin reopening. The stress signal stays elevated as long as the chosen one keeps treating every minute as a minute to be used. The moment you stop using a stretch of time on purpose, the survival frequency starts to register that there is no current threat, and it begins, slowly, to step down. Alpha begins to rise into the space that the stress signal no longer fills. The receiving channel begins to open, simply because nothing is pressing against it anymore. This is exactly the inner condition that the genius song accelerates. The audio works on the same frequency the returning stillness creates space for. The practice can be done without the audio, and it produces real change at a slower rate. The audio deepens the practice in the chosen ones who have both, but the practice on its own is still real. The chosen one, who has only a quiet 7 minutes and the willingness to use them, is already doing the work. So, now you have all 3 practices in your hand: the 3-hour witness for the seeing, the threshold decree for the deciding, the returning stillness for the receiving. They work together. Each one strengthens the others. None of them is hard to do. All of them require the one thing the modern adult mind hates to give: slowness. Permission to let a moment, or 3 moments, or 7 minutes exist without being filled. Now, I want to give you the practical shape of how to walk through whatever remains of this Monday with these 3 tools. Listen carefully, because what comes next has been written for the chosen one, no matter what hour of Monday is currently holding them. If much of Monday remains ahead of you, if the day has just opened or is still in its first stretch, you have the room to use all 3 practices in their full form. Begin with 1 minute of the 3-hour witness immediately while this conversation is closing. Set, in your own awareness, 2 more 60-second windows for later in the day. Use the threshold decree on every weighted decision that arises in the remaining hours. Find 7 minutes of returning stillness, twice if you can, once before midday and once before sleep. The full sequence is available to you. Walk it the way it was designed to be walked. If Monday is at its midday point for you right now, if the morning has already passed and the afternoon is opening, you have less room, but you still have plenty. Compress the practice into a midday version. 1 60-second witness moment, now or shortly after this conversation closes. 1 threshold decree, ready to use on the next significant decision the day brings you. 1 7-minute returning stillness, fitted into whatever quiet pocket the afternoon gives you, even if you have to step away from a task to make the room. The compressed version is still real. The chosen one who arrives at midday with these 3 tools and uses them is doing the same work as the chosen one who began at sunrise. The hour does not change the work. The hour changes the schedule. If Monday is closing for you, if the day is in its descent toward evening, or the deep quiet of late night has already arrived, you still have the most important practice available to you: the returning stillness. 7 minutes before sleep of intentional, unfilled space. 1 threshold decree, spoken silently before whatever final decision the day still asks of you, even if the final decision is simply when to put the day down. The witness moment can be done while lying in bed, before sleep takes you, with your eyes open or closed, simply letting the room be what it is for 60 seconds. The minimum viable practice is enough. The chosen one, who arrives at the end of Monday with these tools and uses, even one of them has done the work the day was asking. The principle underneath all of this is the one I most need you to take with you. It is never too late in the day to begin. Heaven does not measure preparation by clock hour. The chosen one who begins at sunrise and the chosen one who begins at midnight are doing the same work. Your watchman does not stop being on duty because the clock has moved. The seeing is available at any hour. The receiving is available at any hour. The day is not graded by when you started. I say this carefully because I know some of you have been carrying a quiet shame the whole way through this conversation. The feeling that you should have been doing this work earlier. The feeling that you have wasted Mondays before this one. The feeling that other chosen ones have been further along in their restoration for years, while you have only just now begun to understand what was being taken from you. Set that down. The shame is one of the dimming mechanisms. It tells the chosen one they are too late, when in fact the door is exactly where it has always been, and it is open exactly when they reach for it. You are allowed to begin today, even if today is closing. You are allowed to wake the child within you, even if you have spent decades letting her sleep. You are allowed to reopen the receiving channel, even if you have been treating the closure as your personality. You are allowed to outgrow the conditioning, even if the conditioning has been the most reliable thing in your life. You are allowed to become someone the people in your circle do not yet recognize, because what they have been recognizing was the dimmed version, and the dimmed version was never the real you. You are allowed to want the restoration, even if wanting feels strange. You are allowed to let the kingdom flow into you the way it was always meant to, even if you do not feel worthy of the flow. The flow does not check for worthiness. The flow checks for openness. There is one more thing I have to be honest about, because the chosen one deserves the truth, even when the truth is less convenient than the promise. You will use these practices. You will perhaps walk through one of the 3 doors. You will give your spirit the space it has been asking for. And there will still be Mondays where the heaviness does not seem to lift. There will be days after the restoration has begun, when the watchman still feels heavy, when the seeing still feels partial, when the receiving still feels closed. The restoration is not linear. The restoration is wave-shaped. It moves in. It pulls back. It moves in again, deeper. The wave coming back does not mean the wave is failing. The wave coming back is part of how waves work. Some Mondays, even after the practices have begun, will carry compound weight from previous Mondays you walked through unprepared. The body remembers, the nervous system remembers, the watchman remembers. There is a backlog of unprocessed weight that has been building in the chosen one's life for years, and the early days of the restoration involve that backlog surfacing in waves to be released. When it surfaces, the chosen one sometimes interprets the surfacing as a failure of the practice, when in fact the surfacing is the practice working. Material that had been frozen is unfreezing. Material that had been buried is moving up to be seen. That is the restoration doing exactly what it is supposed to do. If you find yourself 2 days from now, 3 weeks from now, 2 months from now, in a Monday that feels just as heavy as this one, do not panic. Do not assume the path has stopped working. Use the practices again. Walk through the day again with the 3 tools in your hand. The watchtower is still yours. The fog will lift again. Each time it lifts faster, and the chosen one's familiarity with their own restored seeing grows. So now, I want you to rest in this moment for a little while. You have been listening for a long stretch. You have allowed me to take you through layers of perception and diagnosis and restoration that most chosen ones do not let anyone take them through, certainly not in a single sitting. That is no small thing. Your willingness, by itself, has been a quiet act of faith for the entire length of this conversation. Sit with that for a moment. The chosen one who reaches the end of a long message like this one is not the same chosen one who began it. Something has been laid down inside you that was not there an hour ago. The frame for what is happening on this Monday. The names for what was done to you, the path of restoration, the 3 practices, the 3 doors. All of it is now in you. None of it can be unlearned. You cannot return to not knowing what you now know. That is, in itself, a quiet kind of breakthrough. It does not need to look like fireworks. The deepest changes in the chosen one's life rarely do. They look like a quiet Monday afternoon, where the chosen one finally has language for what their spirit has been telling them for years. I am grateful that you have stayed with me. The Father is grateful that you have stayed. The version of you several years from now, the restored one, is grateful that this hour did not pass without being claimed. Take one breath. Let what has landed settle. There is one more tool that has come up in past conversations with chosen ones in seasons that look like this one, and I will mention it only briefly, because today is not its day. Some of you have been pulled toward a practice called neuroactive. It has its own purpose, and the chosen ones whose path includes it will recognize the pull on their own time. Today is not about it. Today is about the watchtower and the 2 waves and the 3 practices. I mention it only because some of you are picking up its name in the background of your perception, and I do not want you to wonder why. Now, before this conversation moves into its final ceiling, I want you to hold one thing in your awareness. The most important part of this entire message has not yet been delivered. The watchman has been pacing all afternoon. The seeing has been clearing slowly. The path has been laid out. But there is still one final declaration that was placed on my heart for you. And the declaration is what this conversation has been building toward from the very first sentence. Stay through the final stretch. The Father always saves the seal for the chosen ones who stay. I want you to do something gentle here, just before we cross into the closing. Wherever you are, allow your attention to settle. Not your body, particularly, your attention, the part of you that has been listening. Let it rest for a moment. In your mind, not out loud, return to the watchtower, the same one we have been speaking about for the entire length of this conversation. The tower at the edge of the kingdom. The tower built on the piece of ground that was assigned to your name before you were born. You have been standing on it the whole time we have been talking. You did not climb it for this conversation. You have always been on it. The conversation simply reminded you that you were standing there. Now look outward, in your mind, at the horizon. The fog that covered Monday is lifting. Watch it lift, slowly. The shapes that were hidden inside the fog are beginning to resolve into actual forms. Some of the forms you can name now. Some of them you cannot. That is fine. The seeing is returning. It does not all return in one moment. The light in your mind is dawn light. Not harsh, not blinding. Soft, golden, low. Across the land below your tower. It reaches the shapes one at a time. Each shape, as the light reaches it, becomes legible to you. The horror that the day was wearing dissolves into what was always underneath it. Not threats, assignments, not punishments. Doors. This is not visualization. This is recognition. Your eyes are remembering what they were built to do. Let the seeing settle. Stay there for a moment longer. The dawn does not rush. Your watchman does not rush. There is no clock on the watchtower. The seeing is happening on a different kind of time than the rest of your day uses. When you are ready, in your own time, gently bring your attention back. Father, before this conversation closes, simply this. The chosen one listening has carried more into this Monday than any single message can name. The weight of years they did not choose, the dimming they did not consent to, the closing they did not agree to, the questions they have been carrying without answers, the dread they have been holding without language, the willingness, even after all of it, to stay through one more long message in the hope that this one might carry something true. The source sees every weight that was carried into this conversation. The source has counted every Monday this chosen one has walked through without preparation. The source has held every moment of partial seeing, every offering that landed at a closed door, every prayer that was answered without being received. None of it has been lost. The source has been keeping the record on their behalf, while they did not have the strength to keep it on their own. Now, chosen one, I want you to picture in your mind every dread you carried into this Monday before you found this conversation, every small fear, every heaviness, every unnamed weight. Gather them in your mind, into your hands. They have been with you all morning, or all afternoon, or all evening, depending on which hour holds you. Let them be visible to you, just for a moment. They are real. They have weight. They were not nothing. Now, slowly, in your mind, set them down on the floor of the watchtower. Not gone, not erased, simply no longer carried by you. They can rest where you set them. The watchtower will hold them. You do not have to. Do not say Amen yet. Stay in this stillness for the next 60 seconds before we seal what has been spoken. The seeing is settling, the receiving is opening. The chosen one is exactly where the chosen one needs to be. Now, hear what is being placed over your life. I am the watcher heaven trusted with this hour. I am calibrated by storms others run from. I am the door through which Monday's mercy enters my household. These are not affirmations, these are descriptions. The descriptions were true before this conversation began. The conversation simply named them. You are what these sentences describe. You have always been. The dimming did not change what you are. The dimming made it harder for you to remember. The remembering is now happening. You are not alone in this. Right now, all across the world, chosen ones are walking through this same Monday with the same eyes opening, the same fog lifting, the same watchtower coming back online. You are part of a much larger awakening than you can see from where you stand. The Father is moving across the chosen ones in waves. You are in a wave. There are chosen ones in countries you have never been to, in time zones whose Monday is just starting or just closing, who are receiving the same restoration in this same window. You are not the only one. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. What just happened in your spirit during the past stretch is not symbolic. It is real. The seeing that began to clear is not going to close back up the moment this message ends. The receiving that began to reopen is not going to seal again the moment you put down this conversation. What was placed in you is now in you. It will outlast this Monday. It will be operating in you tomorrow when you wake up. It will be operating in you next week when another threshold day arrives. It will be operating in you a year from now when you look back on this exact afternoon or evening or late night as the moment something turned. If your spirit has met this conversation, leave one word in the comments below this message. Just one word. The word your watchman has been trying to say to you all day. The word that has been sitting underneath everything else you have been thinking about. Do not edit it. Do not refine it. Just leave it. Heaven reads what we plant in agreement, and the chosen ones who leave their word in this place are sealing the work for each other. Your one word will reach a chosen one you will never meet, who needed exactly that word today on their Monday. If this message reached the part of you it was sent to reach, the like below this conversation is your seal of agreement. Heaven multiplies what is sealed. The simple act of pressing the like is, for many chosen ones, the first physical confirmation of an inner yes that has already happened. Let the inner yes have its outer mark. Now I want you to think of one chosen one in your circle. The one who has been unusually heavy this weekend. The mother who said her Monday felt strange before she even got out of bed. The friend who has been quiet since Friday. The sibling who has stopped responding to the small things. The colleague who has been off pattern in a way that does not match anything specific. They are in your circle for this Monday. They were placed there. Send them this message, without explanation. Their spirit will recognize what their mind cannot yet name. You do not need to add commentary. The conversation will speak for itself in their hearing. The chosen ones share the seeing with each other. That is how the wave moves. For those of you who recognize that this conversation is part of a longer thread of revelation, that what reaches you here is connected to what will reach you next, the bell below is the path. The next message has already been prepared. It is already placed. It is waiting for the day on which it will arrive in your hearing. The chosen one who follows this thread is following something heaven has already laid out. Message by message, week by week. Mark the path. Stay on it. And one more time, before we close, the 3 doors are below this message, in the description, in the pinned comment. The chosen one whose spirit pulled toward the first wave only, the one who recognized the path of restoration, the awakening of the child mind. The door is there. The chosen one whose spirit pulled toward the second wave only, the rare path of reception. The door is there. The chosen one whose spirit pulled toward the complete restoration, both waves in their original sequence, the full 2-wave path. The door is there. All 3 are placed. All 3 are honored. None of them is wrong, for the chosen one whose spirit recognizes it. If your spirit confirmed during this listening, the path is below. There is no rush. There is no pressure. The doors are simply there, waiting for the ones who recognize them. The child of light heritage you were born with is what each door restores in its own measure. Step through the one your spirit names. You were sent into this Monday for this Monday, not by accident, not by coincidence, not because the calendar happened to land on this date. You were sent. The watchman in you has been awake the whole time, even when the rest of you forgot. The seeing is returning. The receiving is opening. The day is yours to walk through as the watcher you have always been. Walk through it like the watcher you have always been. The Father is closer than the breath you just took.